PCS Nation family. Fat Friday night, out the window, live from the PCS Nation studios on the outskirts of Blue, New York City. Here we go again with another hot 30 minutes of who knows what's going to come up tonight. It's been one of those days. I got both phones. I remembered the phone at work, so no tech difficulties tonight. I didn't fuck up like I did last time. And we got intro music, just like always. And we got Queen Linda with us.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, I couldn't wait to call in.
Really? What's going on?
I told you earlier, I had a horrendous day at work.
What'd you do that for?
I'm so glad that we're here doing this half hour because I needed this
Right.
as badly as I needed my cranberry wine earlier.
Hey, Queen Linda's drinking tonight, guys.
Yep.
Are we gambling too? Like doing the whole thing, like the show and drinking and gambling all at once? Because this is going to be a party.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah.
We should. I got nothing to drink, though. Well, I mean, let's not.
Yeah.
There's other things I could do.
Yeah. Hey, but before we get too far,
Yeah.
we are having weather issues here, and our phones keep going off with weather alerts.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that while I'm on a call, it would not let that come through. But
Okay.
if all of a sudden you hear, a loud beep like that.
Well, I wasn't even worried about that so much as you getting your ear blown off.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. So, yeah, if I can't shut it off quick, I might have to hang up quick or something. But I think it'll be all right.
Ugh. AJ is saying, I don't know what this means. Can we just go ahead and rip right into the head of community development for Facebook?
Huh.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, wait, no, I thought you were talking about PCS Nation. You're talking about Facebook. The head of community development for... I don't want to talk to anybody from Facebook, really, to be perfectly honest with you. But I don't know. I guess we could if you got something in mind, but elaborate a little and let us know. So I remembered the phone, but I did a dumb today.
Dumber than normal, or?
Oh, excuse me? I know. It's true. Yeah, it's not entirely my fault, though. I got hypnotized yesterday by that 58-degree weather, and it was beautiful out, and I got out of work, and it was still just a little light, which is nice, too. And I went and did the laundry, and I was just wearing a hoodie and sneakers, and it was enjoyable, and and I got hypnotized and lulled into a false sense of spring.
Uh-huh.
Then I got up this morning, and it was 55, I think, when I got up at like 5:30 this morning. I'm like, fucking awesome. Another day. It's here. It's springtime. This winter bullshit's over with. So I just had 2 T-shirts and a hoodie and the sneaks, and I went out. I mean, pants too, but just like regular pants like I would have normally had. And by the time I got out of work at 5:30, it had dropped down to 28 degrees, and all I had was my hoodie.
Oh, yeah.
So that sucked a lot.
Yeah.
That was my dumb for the day. One of them, anyway. But
All right.
I was just kicking around with the talk about tonight. And I've been working on an article for the last couple of days that I want to get right because it's slightly delicate. It could be. I could be reading into it a little bit too much, too. But I wanted to talk about Truth Social, the new Trump social media site.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I don't know. Have you looked into that at all? Like, do you know anything about it or paying attention to it?
No, I haven't really. Nope,
Right.
I have not looked at it.
I have been because, for reasons. I mean, obviously, it's another platform that we could use. Could be a good one. It could be a bad one. I mean, any new platform you want to at least look at, it's at least more legitimate, like financially and in other ways, than a lot of the other ones that have come out that were supposed to be that alternate. Go to Gab and go to Minds and go to this place and Parlor and they all sucked.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't even want to talk about it this much because I had other things too, but I want to I have huge reservations about it. And the thing is, it's coming up on Monday. Like, the launch is supposed to be Monday. Now, I heard something about that they're putting it off again, but I got so many questions, and the closer we get to it, the more I'm just reluctant. I just don't know if I'm going to do it or not, which might, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't gung-ho about it, but I was like, we're going to do it. Well, whatever. We'll just try it like we did any other. Maybe this will be something. But the closer we're getting, there's just more and more stuff coming up about it. I'm not liking it. And I wanted to get into that. But then here comes the walk home in my hoodie in 28 degrees, freezing my ass off and listening to the news. and I caught the top hour of Spicer on Sean Spicer on Newsmax. And the first two things were, number one, that fucking idiot meatbag goon buffoon in the White House just jumped on the airwaves and made a huge big announcement where he just repeated everything he's already said 5 times about what's going on in Russia. Well, you're not going to do anything. You don't need to tell us again. Go out to Camp Brandon, eat some ice cream, and chill for the weekend. We know that you're not going to do anything about Russia. So you don't need to do this stuff. Anyway, so it was that, and that got me riled up and forgetting about Truth Social. And then right after that, some shit from the Canada situation, where things are getting really ugly and ridiculous up there now, and it's getting into a transitional point where this thing is going to either live or die, or maybe that's not the way to put it, just end or continue is probably a better way to look at it.
Yeah.
So I got a million different things swirling around in my head, and there's a good potential for some yelling tonight, because these are touchy subjects. Not the Truth Social one so much. I'm not going to yell about that. I'm just going to be reflective about it, if we even get into it. But the other two things, there's definitely some good potential. And you're drinking, and maybe you'll get yelling too.
Yeah.
But so that's just like what's kicking around and dancing around in my mind. Obviously, we'll get to anything anybody wants to do in the comments. And what do you have for us? You got anything percolating?
Well, the one thing that caught my attention today was, and if I gave 2 craps about what the CDC has to say about anything, I might be furious about this, but as it is, I'm just mildly irritated.
Okay.
But they changed their guidelines on the expectations for children's speech development.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's like, instead of just admitting that having everybody wear masks had a detrimental effect on these children's progress, they quietly moved the benchmarks, hoping that we wouldn't notice it.
Ugh.
And it previously was at the age of 24 months, your child should know 50 words. And now they've changed it to 30 months. Your child should know 50 words. So in the course of the 2 years of wearing these masks, it changed by 6 months already. It's like, I think that's a big change. If it would go on for 2 more years, it would be a whole year.
I mean, put some perspective on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big change. 6 months, you might look at that and be like, all right, 6 months. But for a 2-year-old, that's a quarter of their life.
Right.
So that is certainly a significant change.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't give a shit what they say anymore. But it's the fact that they just tried to quietly change that without anybody noticing it. Again, just trying to pull it over on us like they always do.
I'll tell you the first thing I thought of too, and this is not new stuff. It's just more prevalent now. This is something 10 years ago was a joke. Like you're talking about this, like they're trying to make a population that's dumber.
Yes.
Because that's a population that's easier to manipulate and easier to handle and easier to manage and easier to enforce your will upon. And if I were an aspiring dictator that wanted to establish myself in a totalitarian government and just be the big cheese and run everything, that's certainly something I would do, is I would dumb down. And the joke about it was, and it was only a joke because, like, of course it was a fucking joke. Who would think it would ever really come true? The joke 10 years ago was Common Core. I was kidding around and saying, they wanted to get Common Core math out there into the public and into the schools so you can cultivate a generation of kids that are too stupid in math to question a $20 trillion national debt that you're creating. And it was ha ha ha, but right. It couldn't be.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now that's like reality now. That's like for real.
Yeah.
And something like this, it's like, maybe it's not the goal of they use this pandemic for a lot of different things, okay?
Yeah.
There's no question about it. But that might be one of them. That might be, you know what? Let's do this too. Let's work back on that. Let's get these people dumbed down, and we'll get them dumb, and we'll get them poor, and we'll get them dependent upon the government. We'll raise the prices, and just every one of these little things. It's just, maybe I'm just completely out of my mind, and please tell me. I'd rather know. But every one of these little things just comes back to that same thing, that same control and enforce the will and the power shift to that away from the people. every one of these things, immediately my mind goes right to that.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, the thing that AJ was talking about, the community development head for FB, that's the guy that got caught in that amateur pedophile.
Oh, yeah. No, and it's actually, he texted me about that earlier, too. I just only saw the one. He might have said, AJ, maybe you said something before that I just didn't notice on the comments. But, yeah, the Facebook got, I can't remember the guy's name, AJ. If you remember, you just want to pop it up or whatever. He got bagged just like texting. I don't even know if it was in person or if it was online, but messing around with some 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, I did see something about that.
The Democrats are just complete fucking degenerates.
Yeah,
I know. It's like, you know why? It's not. I'm not going to say it's always them, because you got foul Republicans too. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But it's like, look at CNN. Every one of them. What are they doing over there?
Yeah,
they're not doing news. They're fucking each other.
Yeah,
and stabbing each other in the back.
This is the class and quality of people that are shadow banning us on social media.
Right, exactly. The irony in that.
Yeah.
It's just stunning.
Yes.
That this guy's chasing 13-year-old boys and telling me I can't post a joke meme about throwing Hillary Clinton into a wood chipper.
Yeah.
Which I didn't say that I wanted to do. It was a joke. So don't fucking throw us off Facebook yet.
Yeah.
I'm not ready yet. Soon. Then you can kick me off. You know, I'm going to blow this place up. That one day, I'm telling you right now, I'm making an official announcement. And I don't know when this day is going to be. But there's going to be a day that I'm rocking on Substack and I'm making a living at that. And I'm going to be so fed up with Facebook, I'm just going to be like, you know what? It's time to depart. And maybe you keep it running. Maybe my son will jump in a little bit. I'm going away. And again, nobody panic. It's not tomorrow. But I will tell you this. When that day comes, and we'll prep for it, and I'll let you all know, and we'll talk about it ahead of time. We'll build up to it. I'm blowing this place up that day. So I guess I just lied because it wouldn't be left to you or to my son because I'm going to blow it up. I'm going to post every fucking meme I ever got a 30-day sentence for. I'm going to shorten the name of certain nationalities in a completely inoffensive way, but that doesn't go against community guidelines, and get everything I ever did that I got kicked off Facebook for 30 days for, I'm going to do it that day until they throw me off. Yeah. I'm going to blow the whole place up. So I don't know why I just thought of that now with so many other things we have to talk about, but
I know we got to talk about the Canada thing because that is huge.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if those truckers, I am like praying that they hold the line, because if they don't and the Canadian government takes them down, it's going to be free open season on all of us.
Yeah, like they're in their shot right now. This is their shot. This is their moment. Yes. This is their line.
Yep.
And if they let it go, and I'm not ragging on them. I'm not saying they're anything. I'm sitting back and cheering for them and keeping my fingers crossed and hoping they hang in. Because if they break, you're not going to get this chance again. For at least not for a real long time. Yeah. And it's going to get worse. If they break you down on this, it's going to get worse. Yeah. So they really got to hold it. And the thing really just flipped the whole day on me. Like that walk home was pivotal. That they had on the Spicer show, a guy who was up there and part of it. And they said they started doing the arrests today. And you're seeing pictures all over the internet now where like there's a big line. One side it's cops and the other side it's the people. And it's like getting stupid serious up there. And the thing that just scared maybe is not the right word, but you know what I mean. He said that they asked him flat out, once they started doing the arrests last night. And they're really kicking it in today. And they're just busting people for everything. This guy said that they're going up to people in their cars if they won't leave and smashing their windows and dragging them out of the car and arresting them.
Wow.
Spicer asked him to put a percentage from last night to today. How many people were still there? How many people left? And the guy said about 70% of the people from last night left.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So it's not a good sign. You know what? Maybe they're organizing in a different place. Like I was kidding around earlier on the boards today about like just get out of there and go outside. Okay, they fine. Yeah. They want a no-go zone. give them their zone, and just line your trucks up in a big perimeter around that. Just back it up. Just back it up. But the other thing that's got to happen now, too, is more people got to start showing up there. And it's not like I'm saying, get up off your couch and go. I'm not going. Obviously, there's not much we can do from here. I guess if you got the week off or something, head to Canada, see what you can do. Obviously, don't do that, and certainly don't do it on my say-so, because I don't know shit, and you shouldn't be listening to me about anything, like I tell you all the time. What is going on out there? Oh, I think somebody's stealing a car next door.
Oh my gosh.
It might not be that. Anyway, it's none of my concern.
Yeah.
They need more people. They need reinforcements. This has got to be the point where there's a couple of ways it can go, and I hate to say this, so I don't mean to sound like definitive about it, but at this moment, in this moment, the Canadian government has the upper hand because they're armed and they're got the backing of the government. They have better resources, and they're moving right now. They're at a point now where they're making a play, and their play is putting them at an advantage right now. And the way you get the advantage back, or the way you tilt it back, is only going to be bringing just more people in and saying, hey, you didn't listen to these 100,000 people? How about 300,000? Will you listen to that? No? How about 500,000? Are you listening now? And just escalate it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the other thing. The other way, and this is not, I would hope that this isn't what they do, and I would hope this isn't what it comes to. However, whatever has to happen, people start showing up armed. And I'm not advocating that. So please, Facebook censorers, NSA, FBI, any of you who are listening, if you're bouncing off the satellite dishes from the old whorehouse next door and triangulating in on me, I'm not advocating that. I'm just observing and commenting and not answering any questions and just making the old ones worse like we do. Stepping it up and showing up with weapons and stuff like that is not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be good. But you know what? It's just ultimately, it's going to start coming to that. Whether it's there or whether it's here or whether it's some European country that's now picking up on this from Canada. Canada inspired a lot of people around the world. These protests are popping up everywhere. It's not just up there. And we're behind the curve on this. They're talking about next week, the February 23rd, which I think is next Wednesday. They're supposed to have this convoy kick off in California, come straight down the gut, right across the middle of the country, and end up in D.C. That's the way I heard it. And they had a woman on one of the shows I was watching today. That's the organizer, the big cheese organizer of it. They're not using any crowdsource funding. They started their own finance company with lawyers and accountants, and they hired all these people, and they're using a private bank, and they're bankrolling this through that. They're taking donations through that. I don't know the inner workings of it, but they're not dealing with GoFundMe or Give Send Go or any of those places. They're doing it directly through a private company of people they hired to do the work. So the financing is there for it. Now it comes down to two things with that. A, do the people show up? Which I have every reason to believe they will, but I want to see it. I'm not going to get crazy about it until it actually starts happening, because these things can fizzle out. They were talking about the Super Bowl, which, like I said the other night, I thought was a bad idea, and I had reasons for it. But that never materialized. That never happened, unless something little went on there, but whatever. This sounds serious, and it sounds like it's for real. It sounds like they're bankrolled. It sounds like they know what they're doing and at least have a plan in place. Yeah. Now the people need to show up, because if they don't, you just wasted all this time and all this planning and all that money. The other thing that concerns me is the other thing I talked about on the show, I guess Monday night, was that although I understand that you have to plan these things and there are logistics involved that have to be worked with, I think it's a big negative that they had to telegraph this so far in advance and say it's going to be next week, because that's given Washington plenty of time to get their shit together, as much as Washington ever gets its shit together. They're good at shit like this. I mean, they're fine with that. And set that up and start cracking down on them before this thing even gets started. And if I'm Washington, if I'm Nancy Pelosi or whoever, I don't even know what name would be in charge of. Pete Buttigieg, whatever. I don't even know how to say his name. He's highways, right? So,
Yeah.
I had ran 44 buses in South Bend, Indiana, and now I'm in charge of every highway in the United States. So I guess he's the guy that has to deal with this.
Yeah.
If I'm him, he wouldn't be gay. But if I'm him, I want that thing to stop before it crosses out of California. If it even gets started at all. So you got to be working on that too. I don't know. It's just the guy they were talking to, and he was one of the truckers that was there. He didn't leave. The two main organizers. If I have any of this wrong, please somebody say so in the comments. The two main organizers have been arrested already.
Wow.
I don't remember their names. I've seen them both on the shows on Newsmax and on OANN. They've been arrested. The crime that they're charging them with is something mischief, which it's different than the words we use here. It's equivalent to like public damage, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, it's not a horrible crime, whatever, but they call it mischief. That's what they were charged with. Somebody knows what it is, just pop it in there. So they arrested these two guys. I don't know if they're still in, if they're out on bail. I don't know if they're like in cells like the people from January 6th. I don't know what the situation is with that, but they did arrest those two guys. And they're actively arresting people who aren't cooperating, and they're doing it methodically, and there's a lot of cops, and it's not like anything you can really resist.
Uh-huh.
And the guy said there's about 30% of the people left, and they asked him, and he's like, I'm not going anywhere. If they want to arrest me, that's part of the game, and they can come and do that. And so, there's that, but if that's 5 guys, that's not going to amount to much, because, okay, we'll arrest you and take you away. So,
Teresa Carlson has a good comment here. She said, could they want this to happen here so that they can usher in martial law? Like they'll let it start. Let it start, and then they can declare martial law.
Go ahead.
Good point, though.
Point there. Absolutely. Good one. I was saying that the other day about, what was it? It was about the voting, about the election in that opener one yesterday or the day before. I'm like, not for nothing, but this is a kind of thing where you ferment this thing and you develop it and you build it up to the point, this or the Russian, I was talking about the Russian thing, going to war with Ukraine and Russia and us getting about it, and we're in a shooting war with Russia.
Oh, yeah.
Would be a pretty good and plausible reason to put off an election.
Right.
Which is like you go under martial law. Certainly this could be that.
It just blows me away how we went, in 2 years' time, we went from 2 weeks to flatten the curve to we're going to freeze your bank accounts and pull you out of your truck.
It's unreal.
Yeah,
It's unreal. Just talk. They're not even, this fucking clown, this commie Fidel Castro's son, little bitch, won't even talk to these people. And you hear the way he talks. Did anybody, I didn't even think of this for tonight, but this was great too, where he was getting called out. They do this thing in Canada, which I think we should do here, where I think it's once a week. I don't think it's once a day, but once a week, all the leaders get together and they can ask each other's questions. Like you can ask Trudeau a question and he can ask somebody else, and it's like an open forum. And it gets a little heated, but we should do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, they were talking, and this one representative, a female, I cannot remember her name, was ripping him apart and letting him have it. And then he has a chance to rebut. And there's a guy in like some robes and a wig, and he gets up and says, okay, little pussy, it's your turn now. And he gets up. He didn't say that. I said it. And he gets up and he starts talking about, if you want to stand with people who are waving swastikas and people who are waving Confederate flags and blah, 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 blah. And the crowd just lit up. They started booing him right off the bat.
Yeah.
And the fact was that this representative, I just didn't think we were talking about it tonight. It kind of slipped my mind. Her name and where she's from. I mean, I'm going to give her proper props for that too when we're done later. She jumped up. She says, I'm a Jewish Canadian with parents who are Holocaust survivors, and I'm so offended. She said, I can't remember exactly what she said, but I've never been put down as much as I was here today. And you owe me an apology, and you owe Canada an apology. And she ripped this guy apart. I got to get that video posted. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
But this douche won't even talk to the people, and you're just dropping the hammer. There was no in between here. These guys showed up. You went and hid. Thought about what you could do, thought about how you could get out of this gracefully, what you could do, this, that. You didn't even think about talking. You didn't even think about listening to what anybody had to say. You just came back and went smack and dropped the hammer and you start arresting people, taking their property. It's insane.
Yeah.
There was no gradual build up to it. It just, you flip the switch.
I never heard him talk, I don't think. Maybe if I did, it was only a little, 30-second clip or whatever. But I watched a video of him talking the other day. He sounds like a weenie.
He's a weenie. He's absolutely a weenie.
He's got the most horrible voice I've
He even
ever
stands
heard.
there. He should be on the friggin' Penn women's swim team.
Yes.
He'd fit right in.
Yeah. As goofy as Prince Charles looks, and he looks like a dweeb, he's got a really nice voice.
He does.
I mean, his voice doesn't fit him at all.
No.
But this guy, Trudeau, oh my God, he sounds like, I don't know.
I wouldn't follow this guy anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds frivolous to say I wouldn't vote for somebody because of the sound of their voice. Man, this guy just doesn't inspire any kind of confidence.
No.
And he's a weenie. That's exactly the right word for him.
Yeah.
Just like Biden's a meatbag. He's a weenie. Yeah. What was that guy? Somebody said the other day. Somebody called Joe Biden something good. You remember that? He called him a freeze-dried meat bucket.
Oh.
I didn't see it. Oh, somebody put up a meme said
that.
freeze-dried meat bucket. I got to find out who that was because I said I was going to steal it. I might have to adapt it a little bit, like a freeze-dried meat bag or a freeze something. But that was good because he does look a little freeze-dried.
Yeah, he does.
And now that's the other thing that's going on over there. With he's blowing this whole Russia thing. He's promoting this war. He's trying to make a war happen, which got me into the other thing we were just talking about, saying, yeah, this is something where they're going to throw martial law down, postpone the election because they know they're going to get their asses handed to them. I don't think there's any question in anybody's mind that that's going to happen. So, maybe they're just kind of fomenting this and trying to get something to happen to get us into a position to bring on martial law or whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be martial. They're making laws up as they go along.
Yeah.
You can pull his pen out and just write an executive order. And yeah, fine, you got to go sort that out. You can get that flipped over and not enforced. But in the minute that you have, you can do some awful shit. Just like the vaccine mandates, which I'm still tweaked about. How they did all these vaccine mandates and they were completely unconstitutional. And everybody knew they were unconstitutional. And you would go to court, and court takes time. But at the end of the time, you find out they're unconstitutional and they get overturned. But now you're 6 months later, and how many motherfucking people got that injection who didn't want it, and then to find out that it was an unconstitutional mandate and you can't pull that back out of them. And it's the same kind of thing here. You get that little window, you do your little grimy shit that you know is going to drag through and take time before it gets flipped around. And you can cause some mayhem in that short amount of time.
Yeah.
Look at the mayhem that this fucking guy's caused in 1 year as president. And I was thinking about that earlier today, too, comparing him to other worst presidents of all time. And the obvious, well, whatever. I don't even talk about Obama. It's my feelings are still too raw about him. But Jimmy Carter came to mind, all right? Jimmy Carter didn't start out horrible. It didn't start bad. It was a bad time. We had some ugly shit going on just before him. The circumstances of him coming into the White House were not great. But it took him 4 years to get to completely fucked up where it was like Ronald had to come in and say, all right, I got it, man. Just go. Just go back to your peanut farm and your brother and go drink some Billy beer and just go. And we'll take care of it from here. It took him 4 years to get there. It took this buffoon a year to cause twice as much mayhem as that guy did.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying to myself, like, what excuse can you make for him? Like, just to be fair and just to be objective, what excuse can you make? And the only thing I came up with was that, okay, it's a different world in 2022 than it was in 1976. You have the internet now. Everything goes faster. When somebody fucks up, if Jimmy Carter fucked up, you didn't hear about it maybe for 3 days.
Yeah.
If Joe Biden fucks up, you hear about it before he's done talking.
Yeah.
So yes, that accelerates the process. But this is just an incredibly stunning display of fucking everything up that you touched in a record-breaking amount of time. And I don't know where we go from here. We got 3 more years of this shit.
Yeah.
And we're not going to make it. I don't know.
I don't know either.
We got to 30 minutes really quick tonight.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know. You got Kamala Harris. Come on, 28% Kamala. And it was the other thing, too, with her. I'm starting to think that, like, this is a training thing. Like, they're sending her down to the minors by sending her over to Ukraine to work that out. Because when they tried her on our border, where there were 2 million invaders, she couldn't deal with that. So maybe they sent her over there to work on that where there's only 190,000 people about to invade. So it's like a training program for her. And then she'll come back and fix our southern border. Maybe that's what it is. Or that, or she's in Germany now throwing blowies to all the Eastern European leaders just to try and calm everybody down. I know that's calming. You
understand how that can calm a person down.
It centers you, okay? Yeah. So maybe she's over there. Look, you got a skill set. Everybody's got a skill set. I'm a smart ass who says a lot of shit that I shouldn't say, and I'm an internet trigger provocateur. That's my skill set. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at shit posting on Facebook and talking shit and going on Twitter and ripping people. That's my skill set. Her skill set's sucking dick. Okay? That's how she got where she is. That's how she's going to go anywhere she goes from here. So maybe she's over there doing that. Oral sex to end World War III. Who knows? There's been worse ideas.
You got to start with where you are, You
got to work within work to your strengths. Work to your strengths. So maybe that's what's going on. I don't see the 28% are doing anything to resolve this at all. They're having like a think tank over there. In the meantime, they're adding more troops to the border, and this thing's going to blow up. And it's over nothing because Ukraine doesn't mean a fucking thing to us. I just somewhat object just on principle to one country invading another country. But that shit's really not any of our business. It's not NATO. If we could afford to do it, okay, maybe that's a different story. If we weren't just coming out of a pandemic ourselves and not even really on our feet yet, okay, Ukraine, we got you on this one, okay?
Yeah.
If Ukraine had some sort of international value to us, if we depended upon them for a rare earth mineral that you couldn't get anywhere but in Ukraine, maybe we look out for Ukraine. If we had someone who could navigate his way through this without just bringing fucking nuclear winter to the whole globe by the time he's done with it, because that's not outside the realm of possibility with this guy. If we had somebody that could lead us through this, I might be okay about going and helping out Ukraine. But as it stands right now, where we don't have that leader, where we're not on our feet from the pandemic yet, where we don't have the money to do it, and so on and so on and so on, there's no interest whatsoever. There's nothing for us to benefit from being involved in this. And yet we're involved in it, like right up front, trying to be anyway. It seems like they almost don't even want us. Like France is handling it on their own. Germany wants nothing to do with nothing. They just keep sitting there with their fingers crossed, staring at that pipeline and hoping the juice keeps coming pouring out of it, which should have never even happened in the first place. And you never would have had any of this bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just...
nobody asked you,
Nobody ever asks me.
If they would have just asked you to begin with, we could have avoided all this.
Yeah, I would have got us into other shit, though.
Yeah, probably.
I want to invade, I want to go to North Sentinel Island. Like, I posted that meme about them. I want to know what's going on. Account for yourself. Like, you can't just shoot arrows at people. Yeah. That's rude. That's not how international diplomacy is born. Like, so shit like that. Like, I'd get us all tangled up with that. I'd be like the guy in the Philippines. What's his name? The guy who's like executing everybody. Like, if he doesn't like the things they do, he just has them killed. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't know.
Philippines? I don't know. Kim Jong-un. He's Korea.
I don't know if well, yeah, he looks like he has a pretty good time as a dictator. I'd be a dictator. I don't know. I wouldn't be a dictator. I don't want to be in any of this. I don't want to deal with any of this shit.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. And I wouldn't be good at it. And people wouldn't like me. And I don't want to wear a suit and tie and shit like that. So that wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
You guys were talking to me 2 years ago about running against A.O. Circus Monkey in the Bronx. And I could beat her, too. I told you the whole trick to that. I'll spend 3 months down there with a van full of little baggies of pot and chocolate bars that have G 2020 on them or G 2022 on them. And I'll drive around the neighborhoods there and I'll kick her ass in an election.
Yeah.
I would love to debate her. That wouldn't be fair. If that was a boxing match, there's no state athletic commission in the country that would sanction it. For her safety. But that'll never happen. And I got no money to run. You got to have a lot of money to run for any kind of office like that.
I know. You gotta get some real influential supporters.
I can't even barely get a Substack website running.
I know.
So forget about that. But
Yeah.
they should call me though. Like I can get a job. Maybe I could be a consultant or something.
Yeah, there you go.
What would you make me? Like if you were going to create an office for me, an office, like a department for me,
Yeah.
what would it be? This is going to be your going out the door moment. We're not even going to do a Substack commercial. Guys, go subscribe to Substack already, for crying out loud. It's $6 a month, $60 a year. PCSNation.substack.com. Commercial done. Just do it already. I'm sorry. Back to the question. What department would you give me in government?
Oh my gosh. Now you now you put me on.
Come on. You brought it up.
Shoot.
Nobody listens to me. I'll be like the internet trigger provocateur czar.
Yeah, something like that.
I got you off the hook.
Yeah, okay. If I think of one, I'll pop it up later.
All right, we'll talk about it over the weekend, I guess.
Yeah, we will.
We're way over. We did good tonight. I had a good time tonight. It went by really fast, too.
I did, too. I feel all warm and happy now.
Yeah. So the only other thing, housekeeping, the new Twitter account, if you hadn't heard about it, it's been like 3 days already. We got kicked out. We didn't get kicked off. All right, I'll tell the story real quick because I really didn't talk about it that much. I posted something on Twitter where Elizabeth Palefeather Warren was whining about Congress people trading stocks, and I just made it off the cuff post like, why don't you stop quacking about it, you fake Indian, and just go down the hall and punch Nancy Pelosi right in the eye. And whack, I got smashed with a 12-hour ban off Twitter. I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not waiting 12 hours because just to be a douchebag. So I started a new account, and I got a better name now. We don't have to deal with that ridiculous, ponderous old 27-digit number that we had before. So, if you're still on Twitter, if you like the tweets that I post here on Substack and on Facebook, and you want to see them as they happen, and you're on Twitter, we are at PCS Nation Bitches. And Linda can spell it out. It's PCS NationBitchz. Follow us on Twitter at PCS Nation Bitches. And that's all I got for tonight. Linda, we good? You got anything?
We're good, and I don't have anything.
Love you guys. Thank you all for your support here on PCS Nation on Substack, PCS Nation on Facebook, PCS Nation on Twitter, and every which way we go. Maybe Truth Social. I don't know yet. We'll talk about that over the weekend. I'm going to finish that article, or maybe we'll talk about it Monday. Anyway, like I said, I'm out. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. Facebook people, I'll see you on Monday. Substack folks, see you over the weekend. We'll do our thing that we do. And I'm out!